All right, and welcome back to the Tomfoolery Podcast, Episode 2. You got myself, Adrien, back with Mac and a new guest, Brennan.
Yeah, I'm just some fucking nose, man.
Yeah, just some guy. Dude, I've known you for so many... I've known you both literally the equal amount of time, except for one... I met you guys in the summer, I think, beforehand.
Yeah.
And, like, him in the winter, or, like, vice versa. It was one of the two. Yeah, it's been, like, 15 years, though. Have you noticed that? Like, because he moved in what, your mom said 99?
Your face has changed at all, man.
Not really. Well, it's kind of gotten fatter, actually. I've gained weight.
A little more facial
hair. Like, the face
hair.
stayed the same, but the rest got bigger.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, no, not much has changed.
Some things stay the same.
It's like you drew on the face of a balloon and just inflated it, and that was what happened.
It looked really good when it wasn't blown up, and then it got really expanded.
At some point, someone
got out there.
At some point, someone found a felt pen and just scribbled a beard on it.
Didn't quite have that when you were 10 or whatever.
Not
I think 2001 was then.
Was it 2001? I can't remember. Your mom said 99.
No, it wasn't in the 90s. It was 2001, I believe. Maybe 2000.
Did you also meet him at a go-kart rally?
No.
Did he also seem weirdly in like almost intrusive into your personal life the moment you let him, where he was like, I have to be friends with you?
Actually, no, that was your brother I had to be friends with. You were just kind of a package deal.
Yeah, he's always been like that, where if he meets anyone in some... I mean, when he was younger, obviously.
Yeah.
Where if he met anyone on like a camping trip or fucking on a school field trip, for fuck's sakes, he made so many new friends.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, how times have changed, huh?
Yeah, I know. The dude's a fucking introvert like a motherfucker.
Now we can hermit and just not meet anyone. So he
but
doesn't need to make friends.
That's always been the funny thing, though, is me and your brother have always gotten along, and we have that age difference, right? He's, 2 years older or whatever? And you and I are, like, pretty well the same age, a couple months apart. But you and I always, like, we never really matched up while growing up. Like, we'd get along, but we'd clash a lot, too. So I would hang out with your brother, or it would be the three of us. It was never just, hey, Brett, let's go do something.
I think the problem was that I was raised thinking that French people were made to surrender, and you never fucking backed down. So it was kind of a challenge, you know?
I must make him submit.
Oh, it's not as bad as Chris, the fucking German. Him and I we just butt heads.
You know, he was just mad that he couldn't invade you. I think there were some, homosexual tendencies he couldn't fill out there. But, no, we would stop talking for a little while, and I think it was more or less for me to, like, strategically rally the troops and try and defeat you once more.
Yeah. We retreat for future victory.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a failure. It's a strategic retreat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's always a strategic retreat.
Yeah, then comes to now, and we're pretty well better off now.
I still hate your guts, just kind of secretly.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah. Until one day he can make an army big enough to invade you properly.
Oh, what was it? I tagged you in that post. It was, you're 1 in a million, and there's like, 48 billion people in the world. And it's like, just find one of yourself and take over a small town. I know my numbers are way the fuck off.
I was wondering, I'm like, do you really think there's 48 billion people in the world?
No, I'm just saying, like, I just threw a big number out there.
Could you ballpark how many people live in this world?
Fuck no.
Okay.
Way too damn many. World War III is coming.
Yeah. Put it in Trump's America, maybe.
Probably. Fuck.
Let's not go there.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess we should state the fact we're Canadians.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody does feel like, telling me I'm wrong about something, I mean, I strictly preface this with, anything I have is probably a wildly uninformed opinion.
Oh yeah, of course.
I think that's across the board.
Yeah, that when it comes to stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking of making a description for the podcast. I'd be like, we have opinions.
Like,
not informed opinions, but we have opinions.
The descriptor for what the topic is like a paragraph of 3 sentences and like a giant essay-length disclaimer about how we're all fucking idiots.
Yeah, pretty much.
We're just product of our time, and like huge millennial scumbags don't. In fact, don't listen to us.
Take everything with a huge grain of salt. That we're just some scumbag.
What the fuck are you talking about? A grain of salt? Take a spoonful of salt. Just take a whole.
Save yourself the anger and just tune away right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a lot like this.
If you want to yell at us, go ahead. At Tomfoolery Pod on Twitter is available.
Yes, it is.
You guys made a Twitter?
We have a Twitter. We're soon to make a Facebook page. We're just waiting on our logo to come through. I got a buddy working on that right now.
Oh.
Then
don't give me the password. I'm gonna sabotage that if I get away.
No, only him and I have it right now.
I'm gonna start like friending ISIS on Twitter.
Oh, great. Yeah, give Trump another reason to hate Canada.
Start favoriting their beheading videos.
Just going way out
Too
of the
far.
wild part.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, there is a question I wanted to ask you specifically on the podcast.
I'll fill the description with like the link topics, and then there's just links to like ISIS recruitment pages. You know.
We didn't even bring anything close to this up. But I thought this video was interesting.
I like to keep informed of what happens in the Middle East. Thank you.
They're interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you because I can't remember the story. I remember you telling me, but I can't remember. Why is your gamer tag Swiss Nips? You did it a while back, and then like ever since you just slightly varied it. Whenever like somebody bitched about it, it's like it was what Swiss Nipple at first, and now it's like Swiss Nippies.
Yeah.
You had like Swiss Nips in there in the middle at one point.
Yeah. That's an old high school thing actually. I think first year high school, like you know how you go to shops class essentially, and then you kind of just pick what you like. I've always been big on cooking, you know.
Oh yeah, of course.
And I think about the same time first year high school is when I started getting into like pot too. So you can see where it's going, right?
Yeah.
So what happened?
I can explain for him.
So what happened was first day shops class or cooking class essentially. Now fully fledged cooking class. First day of high school. Yeah. Super nervous. I come in after lunch break and I come in stoned off my ass. Just
as you do.
Yeah.
Well,
and of course he's going to cooking class.
I took cooking in grade 7, so I don't think there's many people at that point.
Yeah.
So.
No big 420 potheads in it.
Yeah. Well, I live in suburbia, so I don't know how you people in the ghetto work it out. So I live in the slums over there.
North End, Winnipeg, that Polish Filipino ghetto.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, so it was first cooking class, and I came in stoned because...
Why not?
Yeah, right?
What else are you gonna do?
It's an A+ idea, right?
Best idea I've had in years.
Yeah, and my group, I met them, and I'm stoned, and I want to break the ice. And being the fucking retard that I was, my first idea was, let's come up with food-related nicknames to have for each other. And we came up with, like, by the end of that, we were, like, the best buds, and we had, like, superhero names for each other. Mine, of course, was Nipples. And it was self-suggested because I was just...
I was like, I love it.
Yeah.
Exactly, it was the best name ever.
Yeah, and it kind of stuck with me. I think for the entirety of my high school life, I was referred to by friends as Swiss, you know? I remember one of them was Lamb Chop Lad, there was Captain Spaghetti.
Captain Spaghetti.
I think there was like... Broccoli Bitch was the girl.
Broccoli Bitch.
Yeah, she was like, she didn't like it. She was kind of like apart from the whole thing. I think that's why we ended up with Broccoli Bitch instead.
She's being a bitch.
Yeah. I mean,
alliterations though.
She was nice, but she just didn't want to have a part of it, and that was her biggest mistake.
You don't want to be a part of this? Well, too bad. You're gonna be the butt of our jokes.
Yeah, those guys were great. They the one dude in one of the guys that was part of that little squad. His name was Zach, and he was big on Metalocalypse, if you remember that show.
Yes, I remember that show.
And he always talked like Toki in Squizgar. Like, he talks like this, you know, with a very bad, almost faux Russian kind of Eastern Slavic accent, and there was a lot of unnecessary S's to words. And he was bigger than me. He was like this, like, 1.5 feet on me, right? Yeah. And he was in first year high school with a big blonde goatee, because you know
he's cool.
There's always that one guy who has like the
full facial hair.
Like,
yeah. That was him, and he. I think he was Lamb Chop Lad.
No, he was Lamb Chop Lad.
It wasn't Captain Spaghetti. It was Spaghetti Speedo. That's what it was. Yeah, and that was the other guy who his name was Ryan, and he was. I swear this guy. I don't know if he was like. Just for fun, but I swear to God, he was like flamboyant as all fuck. And by all means, he was straight as an arrow.
he was really flamboyant.
He was really close, man.
No matter how
he was on that fence. He was riding it hard.
You still questioned it to the day.
Yeah, like when you meet someone and they just kind of come up a little too close sometimes, but next thing you know, you see him and he's like with the hottest chick you've ever seen. That was him. And he's a hockey guy, too. So, I mean, you know, weirdly breaking that personal bubble was just kind of accustomed to him, I suppose.
Yeah.
But
yeah, those hockey guys, they they don't have much barriers
No.
because it's like or no or like to like it's like they don't give a shit. It's like they've been around that for.
Yeah, I think a couple of old people I used to know in high school as well. I learned the term bum darts from them. You can kind of pick up on what that's supposed to mean.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right, fair enough.
Yeah.
It's just one of like when you first said it, I'm kind of sitting there going, "What is he talking about?" Then it's like you can kind of figure it out. I don't even want to ask. I'm like, I'm pretty certain I know where you're going with that, and I don't want to ask.
Well, I mean, again, that's where it comes from, and it just kind of stuck with me.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. Hey, it's a funny origin story, really. Hey, look, superhero right there. Boom, done. Origin story.
Swiss nipples.
Well, like, because Max, yours is GT Lorp. And
Yeah.
ours came... Well, no, actually, your first original one was Thermic Gator.
It was
I remember.
Thermic Gator.
And that was because of, what was it? The other guys.
Yeah.
Why don't you explain that one a little bit?
Yeah, like the other guys where he's talking about him, Will Ferrell's character is talking about being a pimp, and he's just like, where he's just reenacting his time as a pimp, and he's like the most like straight edge guy at the time, and then he's going back to the past, and he's just like. He's just swearing at them. He's like, Gators, bitches better be wearing them jimmies, and he's just freaking out. And then we just thought that was the funniest thing ever. So it was like, I had to find something with Gator. So at the time, Xbox, I just like type in Gator, and it gives you like a list of like 20 random adjectives in Gator. So I was like, and they were all nonsense. And I was like, oh, Thermic Gator, sure.
It actually, it sounds pretty cool though, like when you say it, like Thermic Gator.
Yeah,
it's actually not bad.
Is it with like a G or a C? Because it sounds like Thermicator.
Like with a C and then Gator. Yeah, like it's 2 words.
Okay.
Or no,
Thermic and then Gator, but it was like clumped into one.
I hear that and I just think like Uma Thurman if she was turned into a Terminator in like a reboot something.
it might happen.
The Thermicator.
It might,
Yeah. Yeah, and then that timed out, and then I was trying to find a new name, and then I was.
Did you just put like the letter G? You're like, it has to have this one letter.
I pretty much just like I think I liked the way Lorp sounded, so I just like punched the keyboard, and then that's what I ended up with. So I was just like mashing the A and moving it around, and just like that's what it came up with, and yeah.
That's not bad. Well, speaking of seeing movies, actually one of my best, fondest memories with you, Bren, was, I can't remember how old we were, probably what, like 14, 15-ish? Like, crashing your place, gaming out and whatever, and we're looking for something to watch, and we watched Clerks 2.
Oh, God.
And then we hit the pillow pants scene. Oh. You and I lost our shit on that.
I have fond memories of that movie, but have you ever gone back and watched it?
Yes, I got stoned and watched it like 2 weeks ago.
It's bad, isn't it?
It's actually not that bad.
Like, I think on a sober mind, you would have a different opinion. Like,
maybe, but like, I don't know. I like that stupid humor type thing. Like, and like I was explaining to Mac, actually, you might actually catch this a bit more. I was talking with Mac the other day, and him and I send gifts to each other through our phones. Like, my iPhone has its own little thing. He has his thing. I was sending him gifts, and I sent him some of Randall and stuff like that. And there's one of Randall from Clerks 1, where he's talking to Dante's girlfriend at the time, and he's like, if you hurt him, I'll fucking kill you type thing. And I was like, man, why can't you be more like Randall? And as I'm typing this to him, I click in going, well, Mac's not that stupid. He's more the smarter guy. He's more down to earth. He's more responsible and stuff like that. So as I'm going and typing this sentence to him, I start adding to it and go, actually, no, maybe I'm more like Dante and you're more like Randall. And we went on this whole, like, I actually went on for like a little bit about it. And really, when you think about it, I wear backwards, red hat. I'm pretty fucking stupid. I'm lazy as shit.
Yeah.
And, like, not saying that character specifically is that, but that's the portrayal he gives in, like, the scenes that are the funniest, at least. So, yeah, we went on this huge rant about that, and then I discussed it. I'm like, man, we gotta watch that again, Max. Like, as much, like, there's some funny parts, but there's not that many. Like, I love Elias in that. He's just fucking funny. The Donkey Show.
That Donkey Show, I think, would be not good at this time. Like, I was looking over that movie, like, that scene with Lord of the Rings was so funny. I watched that scene again.
I constantly refer to that when I'm
That's
talking
the
about
greatest scene ever.
Yeah, but stuff like a couple of like those jokes are still hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
But like where he's just like
I'm bringing it back.
Yeah, that's a different story.
Monkey.
For life.
Well, that was just because right after Max, like, what, you gonna bring it back? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna bring it back.
Yeah.
The dialogue in that movie is just super wooden though.
Yeah.
If you've gone back and watched it, the humor is still great.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm never not gonna laugh at Jay and Silent Bob's the little intermissions that they have. I got a very fond memory of specifically when he kicks the can.
Get the fuck out of here!
Yeah, I did that one time. This is a completely unrelated thing when I was still, just walking to the store like fucking 4 miles down the road because I didn't, have proper transportation. was drinking a can of Arizona iced tea, and that specific scene came to mind. I booted it, and I can't recreate this ever in my life, and I wish I recorded this, but the can went straight up in the air, completely vertical, and landed perfectly on the ground. And it flew like 35 feet in the air and landed. And the friend I was with didn't even see it, and he was looking at the can. And it's just one of those things that...
Yeah, it's funny, like, those moments where you're just like, if I recorded, like, if I look back and just could watch that scene over again just to see how ridiculous that was, it'd just be like, why wasn't I recording that? But also you're like, why would I record that? It just happened perfectly. And you're like,
Well, that's almost like us in our old trampoline game, the ball game. You kick it off the trampoline, it hits off the tree. That's at least, 3 feet away from it?
And that was like 6 feet away from it.
Even more, that just makes this even better. So, good 6+ feet away, you hit it dead center off that tree, and perfectly landed back on the trampoline. Didn't go down, nothing. He hoofed this thing. You hear it go smack, it comes right back on. We both stopped in mid-air, like, oh my god, what the hell? Couldn't recreate that shit to save our lives, but fuck, it was so intense. And I bring it up every now and then, actually. Yeah. That was a good time, though.
You know, I was just going to mention, again, that the movie still holds up in a lot of scenes.
It really does.
Yeah. Weirdly, again, kind of off topic, but very specific, too. The movie's ruined...
This is for.
The movie, it ruined Goodbye Horses for me.
Oh?
And not
the song?
Yeah. And you would think that, like, the Silence of the Lambs would do that.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh,
fuck me.
I was trying to remember which song that was, and I was like, oh, okay, there you go.
You would think that the Silence of the Lambs would ruin that for me. It doesn't. That movie is fantastic.
That's a great movie.
Yeah. But after Clerks 2, I associate that song
Jay?
specifically with Jay. Fucking with his dick tucked between his legs. Putting on fucking lip gloss and he's out by a driveway or a drive-through of that restaurant.
Yeah.
And this is where it gets oddly specific and like off topic. I can't remember how long ago this was, but I was watching a fucking porno, and it was like, So I was watching it, and then it's like, you doing what you do when you watch a porno. You haven't,
And then just what? Just some dead stop or what?
You haven't pee-pee friction pleasure, and like this.
Would you just get up, tuck it between, and start dancing to the song?
No. It was gone, and then Goodbye Horses comes on, and I just can't. I just have to click off. I'm like, great, now I'm out of it. Like, all I can think about is like a fucking skinny blonde dude and his fat friend with a goddamn stereo behind him. Like, it is the dumbest.
That guy in a trench coat.
Yeah. Fucking fat loser.
Oh man, hey, I gotta admit, Kevin Smith does a great Silent Bob. I love it, and the best part I like about that is because, like, as I've said, I've watched a lot of Kevin Smith interviews and stuff. I'm a big fan.
Yep.
But he was telling, like, he said in an interview one time, or at least in a video I saw, before writing, because he wrote the new Clerks, or he wanted to do Clerks 3. Couldn't, one of the guys didn't want to do it or something like that, one of the main four, so it didn't end up happening, something along those lines. So he's decided to do Jay and Silent Bob, the reboot, and apparently he got, like, pretty stoned and watched Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back a couple times beforehand, and I'm like, I love that movie. That movie is fucking amazing. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. And I think the reason I like it so much isn't because of the fact, like, I know it's supposed to be stupid stoner humor, and I get that, but I think it's just because of the fact of how simple it is. In reality, the storyline is very simple, right? The characters are very simple. But all the shenanigans and hijinks they get into on this trip are just fucking ridiculous and, like, out of the blue. Fucking running into the mystery van in their fucking dreams, smoking up with fucking Fred and all that shit.
I don't know if I could watch that movie again.
That one I think that one was worse than Clerks.
It's got a lot of. I'd say the moment to moment stuff is better in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yeah.
Specifically how, like, they got Jordan or Mark Hamill.
Like cock knocker.
Cut off his hand.
Yeah.
Really? Again?
Like, that stuff is great.
And they had Jason Biggs and James Vanderbeek as.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
well, they had so many fucking cameos in that. Will Ferrell's in it. Yeah. They have Eddie Murphy's. Or not Eddie Murphy. It's Chris Rock, I think it is. One of the two. Oh, fuck, which one is it?
I have no idea.
It's probably Chris Rock.
Yeah, I don't think Eddie Murphy would.
No, it's not Eddie Murphy. I think it's Chris Rock. One of the two.
I think he was still popular at the time that came out.
Still popular. Yeah, he kind of dropped off the face of the earth as of recently. But yeah, okay, yeah, I think it was Chris Rock because he was also in Dogma, and that was like a big thing. Yeah. Dogma is also a good movie. I don't know. I've watched like the entire. Oh, what does he call it? It's a specific universe that Kevin Smith calls it, but like the Jay and Silent Bob universe. I've actually sat down and watched one after another. I've downloaded them all and watched them all. Yes, not the best thing to say right now, but hey, yes, I did it.
Yeah. I mean, again, the moment-to-moment stuff is it's a lot better than Clerks 2, but I think structurally it's like a little all over the place.
But that's kind of like the thing though for them is that's how it is. Like Clerks 2 is more of a path, but like the thing is from what I recall from the interviews at this specific moment, because I know I'm probably going to be a little off on this, but it was. He wanted to continue the story of afterwards, but still kind of tie it in and everything. Like, because if you notice in every other of his Jay and Silent Bob movies, at the end of it, Silent Bob comes up with the answer, right?
Yeah.
That's the one time he speaks. He comes out, he spits this knowledge of truth shit. Jay's being a dickhead about it, and he's telling him to shut the fuck up for the first time ever, right? All that shit every time. But in Clerks 2, he actually straight out, like, he made it where he was going to say something and he was going to give that knowledge of truth, and he stopped himself. He's like, no, it shouldn't come from Bob. It should come from Randall. Randall should have this epiphany, right?
That's when they're, like, in jail or shit, right?
Yes. I think that's actually a museum they filmed it in. It was a museum of, like, jail cells and stuff like that, and something along those lines. Like I said, I've gotten stoned and watched a bunch of videos, so it's kind of one of those things.
Yeah, you know a decent amount about that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's how I know a decent amount about a lot of things. Like, I watched Vadi Video, the Dark Souls lore.
Yeah, Vadi Vidya.
Yeah, I'll smoke up and watch that shit.
You ever see that man?
What? Him himself?
He is fucking beautiful.
I've never actually
He is like the most handsome, suave motherfucker you could ever see.
But I just like his voice, because it's like so calming and everything when he explains stuff. And he's like super polite about everything. And you're just kind of like, this is a nice guy. This is a good guy.
If I had the parts, man, I'd be... My sploosh jets would be on fucking 10. Like, that guy is... He's got, like, like...
Oh, I'm totally sending this podcast, don't lie.
Yeah.
Go to minute 17.
He's got, like that perfect chiseled kind of chin that's, like, perfectly square.
The presidential jaw.
Yeah.
Alright, let's design Brennan's perfect guy.
He does that thing where, it gets me wet every time when they got, like, the shaven chest with the V-neck. He is beautiful. And he's got the voice to compliment with a perfect British accent, so.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
The British accent, then you're classy guy.
But it depends. It has to be the right British accent.
Yeah,
not to be a dick about it, but like, you don't want the Cockney one, man. You don't want Cockney. That's just bad.
Be talking like this.
Yeah, like, your brother told me about his trip to England, man. Yeah. Apparently Cockneys look the worst.
Well, he was in Wales. That was the thing.
Oh, he wasn't even in England? Oh, he's in Britain. No. But Great Britain.
There's so many, like, well, I wouldn't call them provinces again. Again, I'm super uninformed about this.
Yeah,
but
like, when it comes to history, geography, political, anything,
there's
my
so many,
fucking knowledge is
like Wales is a part of Great Britain, but it's not in England.
There's so many, like, subsect, or I guess, like, individual regions of Britain, and they all have their own unique dialect.
It's interesting how, like, some of the places like England, especially, where it's like you could tell what rock they lived on.
Yeah.
Just listening to how they talk.
Depending on their accent, you can pinpoint down to an avenue where they come from.
Exactly.
Holy! But like, you're from 5th Avenue. How'd you know? It's how you fucking talk.
Yeah, like literally.
It's the way you said eggs. You had that specific inflection on the E. It's like, like they have that kind of weird. There's so many different dialects that they could just pick up on that.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I can't.
Yeah, no, we could.
You have to know it. Like,
we can tell the difference when it comes to like Emma Watson and Cockney.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, even the people who are pop culture icons coming from there, they use a specific dialect to come off as
better.
No, I wouldn't say better, but like more posh.
Yeah.
I think is the word for it. Yeah.
Yeah, especially where it's like you're from England, you should be like that. Gentleman or miss or whatever you want.
Exactly.
Like the Kingsman?
The Kingsman, sure. You could say that.
Oh, conversely, Canadian accents.
Oh, yeah.
I can't pick up on it.
No.
Obviously, because we're Canadian.
Yeah.
But unless you're talking about someone who doesn't live in a city. If you talk to someone like, maybe I say 7 or 8 miles out from the city limits, they have a thick accent. And you could pick up on it, and they sound like a stereotype. I want that accent.
Just go live in a small town, man.
I know, it's like weird. Like, my family's from the country. Like, I don't find it that bad, but like it depends where you. There's some places, but like, I think like when you go into like the really like real country
real
ass
rural.
people, real rural area.
Yeah.
Then it's like you get some decent and like. When people kind of do the stereotypical Canadian accent, I just think
it's like haha igloos. It's so cold up here, right? It's like
I got a polar bear.
Tim Hortons, like that shit's not spreading to the States, and don't get me started on fucking Tim Hortons. That garbage, man.
Yeah, I just that accent.
Do you want Robin's Donuts back?
Yeah, I just think of Newfoundland. It's like they're their own type. It's like they have their own way of doing things.
This is the best way I can explain Newfoundland from a comedic point of view. When you're looking at, like, when you see a comedian from, like, the States, they tend to make fun of rednecks in Texas as, like, the shittiest part of, you know, the States, right? They kind of go, the further south you go, the worse it gets. Mm-hmm. For us, it's, you get to Newfoundland, just don't even bother turning around, like, you're done. Lost cause to everybody, fuck that. Like, I know one person from Newfoundland specifically, it's just, the mentality she has isn't the best, but apparently out there itself isn't,
I'd say it's kind of like a weird bell curve, almost, where you go from the East Coast closer to Toronto, and we're almost indistinguishable from Americans, and the more closer to Winnipeg, Saskatchewan you get
the prairie area.
It more kind of desaturates, and we just become, you know, general
people.
I mean, as opposed to the stereotype, we just kind of, it loses itself. And then you cross from Saskatchewan into Edmonton, and it takes like a deep dive into like redneck territory.
Like that Calgary, like
it's bad.
Alberta area.
You've been there?
I've been there. That was like long time.
I spent 3 nights there, and every night Theory of a Dead Man was blasting out of the back of a big pickup truck, and it was like, and then you cross over into BC, into the mountains, and the people are nice, but they don't fucking talk to you.
Yeah,
sorry, get on the way.
My one recollection from Calgary is like I saw more cowboy hats in one night than I have the rest of my life, and it's like,
it's like it's almost like like geographically you move down about 3 states, you know, and the moment you cross back into the Rockies, you just teleport back north again. And it's not everywhere there too. It's specifically like south of Edmonton, if I recall, like towards the south part of Alberta.
Yeah, Edmonton's northern, like more north.
The closer you get to the border, the more rednecky.
Well, like that's like Montana and some of the states there.
Oh, no wonder they're just flowing over now.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I spent about maybe 3-4 days there.
Yeah.
And we were continually going to the west of there, and I'm not even joking.
They didn't even want to stop. They just had no choice.
Their idea of I don't assume this is everywhere south of Edmonton, but where we spent, the campground was just a fucking parking lot covered in dirt.
Yeah, I think I remember. I think we did. I know we camped in around Edmonton once, and then it was. Yeah, I think it was like a field. It was just.
Yeah.
It was like trees. Yeah. We don't need trees. Yeah, but going back to Newfoundland, the one thing that pissed me off the most is their half-hour time change. Like everyone's.
They're half-hour ahead of the place beside them.
Yeah, it's like everything should be hour segments. It's like because like we're in Central Time, so I think that's like -8 GMT or whatever.
I think ours is -6. I thought,
or maybe -6, and then theirs is like -4.5. And it's like, and there's like 2 places in the world that do that. And they're just like,
Newfoundland just has to be one of them.
Yeah, it's like, and then I've just lost hope, and it's like, if you're doing that, what are you doing with your life?
See, like for me, like Newfoundland's a place like I'll probably never go, and like Toronto, I'll rag on it for the rest of my life. It's just that town. I think it's because like I don't live there. Like I think that's just like a Winnipegger thing. Like or most of Canada, you kind of just rag on Toronto about everything.
Yeah,
but they are the New York of Canada, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah. No, they're the America of Canada.
That's it. The America of Canada. Sorry.
And I wonder this too. Like I assume that, you know, every province has their own opinions of each other, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, of course.
I wonder this about, like, Europe and any country in particular. Do they all have this interspersed conflict between their own provinces? Like, we all live in a fucking country together. Like, you think we'd learn to get along, but
Fuck Toronto.
Yeah. I think Europe, especially, is more like the EU is their country, and then each country is kind of a province. Because like if you look at like them, it's you could drive for an hour and hit 5 countries.
Yeah.
Where we live in the second largest country in the world, and it's like it's such a different thing.
To be fair, we could drive a couple hours and hit another country.
Yeah, but like they could
about
literally
it.
like you could drive for a day straight and drive through 8 countries.
Oh yeah.
Where it's just like we could drive. It takes us like 3 days to get to Mexico.
We'll get there.
We'll get there eventually. I don't even know how long it would take. It'd take a long time. Though.
It'd take a while, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because of where we're positioned, it's only 3-4 hours to get to the States, maybe 6.
No, like 1. 1.5 maybe.
it depends.
I've never actually gone to the States. I've never been in the States.
I've been to the States.
No.
Really?
I've gone to the Dominican though. Flew the fuck over the States.
There you go.
But I've never been in the States.
Yeah, like it's like an hour.
I've always wanted to though. Like I've always actually wanted to do a road trip. Like us, like your brother. Fuck, just go to road trip. Edmonton, fucking Wisconsin Dells water park.
They got nice roads there.
They do. They put money into it. Where
Yeah.
here they're just like, money. Roads don't need money.
Yeah.
Screw them. And then
It snows here. Snow fills in potholes.
During the summer, we'll have leftover snow from the ice clearing or the snow clearing. And they'll just dump it on the road.
Dump some asphalt on it. And they'll fix it.
Yeah, we'll do the mill and fill, and they'll have to replace it every 3 years.
Oh, God.
Every 3? What are you talking about, man? We have 2 seasons up here in Winnipeg, man. We got winter and construction. That's it.
No, but like the road to the States.
Yeah.
It is from Winnipeg to the States, like the 75.
Yeah.
That thing's under construction every year. It's stupid. It's like they just pretty much switch between. It's like okay, we're doing northbound this year, and then next year we'll do southbound.
It's like they're trying to deter people from going south and spending money on a different economy.
Yeah, it's also
Maybe if food didn't cost so much up here, we wouldn't have to.
it's also our dollar is shit right now.
Yeah, our dollar's pretty bad.
Yeah, so that also hurts. Where it's like I remember like going to the
My
States.
political view on this one.
Yeah, but like going back to the States like 5-10 years ago, where it's like you would buy like there's like an outlet area near where we'd go, and it'd be like, oh, buy these shirts, 3 for $20, and it's like it's a nice like decent graphic shirts or whatever. Now it's like it's now buy 1 for $30. I'd be like, I can do that in Canadian. That's like 50 Canadian dollars now, and it's like so it's just like there's no point in shopping there. Like if I'm going there, I'm going for an event or something. Where it's
Well, that's the thing here is like Winnipeg. I mean, I love this place, obviously.
Yeah.
But if I could, I would move the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I know. I honestly want to just go somewhere warm.
I want to go somewhere where everybody's not horribly racist to each other.
That's just life, though. There's always going to be... I don't care where the fuck you go. You'll find somebody who's racist no matter where you go.
Yeah.
It's just the amount that are
Amount of racism is pretty bad, yeah.
It's not.
I can't go on a fucking transit, around here without being called a white boy. Like, man, if you see my family,
you would
have some words to say. Yeah.
You can't go without.
No, man, you get called names and.
To be fair, he also lives in the ghetto.
Yeah, that's a
It's
problem.
horrible Filipino Ukrainian ghetto.
They're the racists!
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
You're so at risk of being attacked by a cuddly small dog. It's got sharp teeth, though. Careful.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
can nip your ankles pretty good.
My ankles! Taking me! Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Totally different change of topics, though.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of drawn to a close there.
Yeah, kind of.
How much more can we throw our country folk under the bus here, right?
Yeah, how much of a demographic do we want to not listen to this? Who can we isolate more?
Yeah, who can we piss off today? Oh, yeah, that's always good.
Fuck you, Victoria. Our pot is getting better in quality, damn it.
Actually, I wouldn't mind going to BC just because they have all those fucking dispensaries.
Yeah.
Just to go, pick up a little bit and leave.
Okay, anyway, moving on to your.
That was his.
That was your thing?
No.
Shit, no, it's
more or
over.
less because you and I recently went and saw this Ghost in the Shell.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sell me on this because I know nothing about it other than it was an anime and I've heard so much flack because of whitewashing and all this shit, but I know nothing about it, so it doesn't interest me. I'm not like, man, I'm going to see this movie. Like my buddy Brian, or Dick as we like to call him because of his last name.
Yeah.
It's actually Dick. For clarification for people who hear this.
Yeah, just give out his personal information.
Yeah,
sure,
he lives on 454 East.
I actually don't know where he lives. He lives outside the city. That's all I know. Anyways, so Dick was telling me, he's like, man, I just saw it. You got to go see it. And I was like, why? I don't know nothing about it. And he's like, Scarlett Johansson. I'm like, if I want to feed money into her bank account, I'll watch Marvel. Like, in reality, I'll get a movie I like, I enjoy, and I know about, rather than watching a movie where it's like, I have no idea what's going on or anything.
Yeah, I got passing familiarity with the series. I watched Standalone Complex. Like the first season, I'm kind of familiar with.
Okay.
Haven't watched the movies. I watched a little bit of second season of Standalone Complex.
Okay.
It was an animated series that ran like back when YTV was picking up a lot of anime to air, like Naruto.
YTV was legit back when we were kids.
Yeah. They of all things, one of the weirdest things for them to pick up would have been Ghost in the Shell.
They're actually making a reboot of Reboot, but
Yeah.
we'll get into the reboots of reboots in the future.
The reboots, reboot, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got passing familiarity with it, like I said. The movie, as like an adaptation of that series, was okay. Plot-wise, it was garbage.
Not great.
It was
it
all over the place. And, like, every scene was so rushed for, like, the first third to a half of the movie.
Okay.
You were just kind of, like, watching things happen. And you were expecting some plot relevance to it.
No.
But they were there, and then they would go to a different scene, and then go right back to the same spot they were at the scene prior changed. And
yeah, it seemed a lot like where it was like just 10 independent scenes that were just happening at similar times, and then they'd be like,
I'm just going to throw this out there. I know we're being very vague about it, but there may be a chance of spoilers, so you may want to fast forward on the off chance.
I don't think...
Yeah, I'm going to spoil a very specific scene.
Okay, that's fine. Then
Mac knows all about my problem with this.
Well, see, it's a good thing, because on our last podcast, I brought up something in a show that was kind of spoilery, but not too much. We didn't say nothing about it. So I just wanted to make sure to throw that in quick.
I wouldn't even say this is a particular spoiler, because they showed like all of this during the promotional footage. And
all the trailers and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
But plot-wise, again, the writing, I don't know if it was a problem with the screenplay or the editing of the movie, but every scene of the first third to half felt so loosely connected, and they were just kind of going places. You weren't at all familiar with the main character besides being told exactly who she is. And there were a few line deliveries, specifically when they reprimand her for the first time, and she says something along the lines of, I'm a machine, is it not what I am built for? And the line was so fucking wooden. It felt like something out of like late 90s, early 2000s, like sci-fi show, where the robot is supposed to be, you gotta remind the audience you're a robot, so give this line like Hayden Christensen in the fucking prequel movies. You know?
Or Anakin in the first one.
Yeah, or Anakin in the first one.
I'll try being a robot, that's a good trick.
Yeah, or even when they just like kept referring to them being a ghost in a shell.
Yeah, they hammered that shit so
like,
hard!
I'm a ghost in a shell.
They
wink.
are explaining to her...
No wink, but it was almost to that degree.
They are explaining...
So it's almost like the Family Guy episode where it's like they put the title in the movie,
Yes.
and then you get Peter going, I get it, and then it gets that's why I'm Superman 3, and it says, oh, that's why it's called that.
I could feel the screenwriter nudging his elbow and winking really hard at me as I was watching this. They were explaining to her, we saved your brain, so your thoughts, your soul, your ghost, in a sense, survived, and we put it, your body was gone. So we have a new body for you.
Or
a
a
shell, if you will. And all they had to do was go, you are a ghost in a shell. And it's like, okay, we get it.
And they reference a different scene too. I think they reference ghost. I'm like, that's such
they keep saying ghost. Like, who calls it that?
Yeah, I would never refer to it as a ghost. I'm like, I get that's a title where it's like, if you want to do it once, sure. But it was like they used the word ghost 3 different scenes.
Yeah, multiple times throughout the movie. And continually in reference to the bad guy, who, again, we mentioned spoilers, is essentially like a pre-experiment that made the main character. She is the last result in a continuing line of experiments that
led up to it.
Led up to her.
Yeah, he's a semi-failed attempt before her.
He's a Frankenstein.
Okay. That's that blonde dude that's in the car with her in the commercials, I assume?
Yeah.
No, the guy with the small eye things.
That's Beto.
No, I'm...
No, this guy has, like, spiky blonde hair and, like, some chin strap of sorts.
He's got longish gray
I don't think
hair.
they showed...
Okay, then I'm thinking of a different
I
guy.
don't think they showed him. I think they're
They
talking
have
about
a
that
shot
Gato or whatever his name
Yeah,
is.
that's probably what I'm talking about.
They
I don't
have
like because I haven't seen it. I'm just going off what the commercial showed.
They have a shot specifically where it shows him taking off a cloak, and you see his body's kind of robotic looking. That's the villain, and he is again essentially like a failed experiment.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of which, I just thought of another problem I have with the movie, but I'll get to that in a little while.
Since I'm bitching, might as well bring up viewpoints.
Right? I mean, that's why you have me, so I can throw shade on anything relevant to my life. Yeah. So again, they hammer home how she exists and who she is relates to the fucking title of the movie she's in. They just kind of throw her in scene to scene. At some point, the creator of her is endangered. Okay. And this is the thing I was getting into with Mac.
Mommy.
Oh, it's mommy.
Yeah, it's mommy. Got that maternal figure.
Yeah.
I don't know, for some reason it seems like it's a lot dirtier that it's mommy now.
No,
Saying daddy no for, like, I don't know, maybe it's just because, like, I'm programmed to see, like, a male inventor when it comes to that stuff, so, like, maybe that's where that's registering on me.
You got, like, the iRobot type thing.
Yeah.
Well,
so, like, there's so many of those movies and shows.
Feeds into his point.
Oh, sorry. Then keep going.
So, they are gonna go save this woman, and the bad guy who is, as far as I know, the Puppet Master, I think is his moniker, takes over these trash men. And they are in a big... Yeah, Mac knows what I'm getting at here.
Mac started sitting here laughing.
I forgot about that scene, and now on. Yeah.
So the Puppet Master guy controls these trash men, and they take their big dump truck and ram the car. And when the camera zooms out, there's kind of a continuity error where, like, the forks on the front of the truck are just missing for some reason. So it's like this dump truck with no forks on it. I don't know if they were supposed to have broken off inside the car, which is... nigh impossible, given they can't do that nowadays. You think the technology would improve.
Yeah, exactly.
That being said, the trash men get out and they start capturing this woman, or trying to kill her, essentially. Yeah. And they have these guns, and the major comes in with her troops, and they chase off. I think they kill one guy.
Yeah, they kill one and capture the other.
Yeah, and Major chases the other one down, and there's a big scene that they showed in the promotional footage.
Where they're in a big puddle?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, the invisible scene. Pool. Yeah, and, like, a lot of people were happy that they had that scene in there because it was, like, really connected to, like, the anime. Yeah. Like, that was, like, a pivotal point.
It's pretty much scene for scene with
that's what I've been told.
From what I understand.
Yeah.
But afterwards, I was thinking outside the theater, and I was talking with Mac here. Why did the trashmen have guns?
Yeah, it was pretty much they had augmentation to their brain or whatever, so that the Puppet Master could control them. Yeah. But then all of a sudden it's just like, oh, we have these guns, and the one guy has, like, a cloaking ability.
Yeah. From what I understand, and our friend explained this to us.
Yep.
They had cut out a scene that happens in the original movie where the trash guys go and find someone with this cloaking technology. And then he kind of, like, jumps to that person and goes and tries to kill this person in question. I don't know if it's someone else in the movie, but, you know, for all intents and purposes, they just cut that scene out.
Yeah.
And...
well, it's one of those scenes where it's, like, I get, like, from how you're explaining it at least, I see the point of where it's, like, it's such a minor detail to, like, a director or something like that. It's, we can leave that out. Like, but, like, it's also one of those... it's a pivotal minor detail because, like, if this one guy has the cloaking ability and somebody transferred over, like, from what you're explaining, I'm going off of, if that's how that happened and everything, like, how's the audience, like, us, supposed to know that happened? We're just assuming this one guy had a vendetta. Alright, so as you were saying?
Yeah, sorry about that little intermission there.
Yeah, brief intermission that you won't notice.
Friend here forgot to tell people we were doing something.
Well, it wasn't so much. Just leave it alone. Get off my ass, alright?
Get off my ass, damn it.
Hey, it was work calling, not my fault.
Reaper time, more like idiot time.
Got him!
Actually, the funny part is...
got him!
The funny part is I talked about your gamer tag, his gamer tag, and left mine completely fuck out of it.
Oh, I just realized your hat says Dumbo. How appropriate.
Yes. Well, my sister calls me Dumbo as the nickname, right?
Yeah.
So, and every time I get a hat, I get something on there.
Sure, nickname.
I wear it to work all the fuck time.
We'll go with nickname. Yeah.
Fuck you. Fuck you, asshole!
It's a term of endearment, as we...
Nothing is offensive as long as you call it a term of endearment.
I
called him a racial slur because it's a term of endearment for him.
So anyways, Ghost in the Shell, as you were bitching already.
To continue my millennial-esque bitching here.
Yes.
We go back and we were talking about the guy who had the cloaking technology. Yes. The trash man, who for some odd reason was equipped with a automatic gun with not one, not two, but 3 spare full clips and a tech vest on. Why does a trash man have that equipped?
Forgot about the clips. Yeah, he reloaded.
He reloaded multiple times. He had spare clips, and.
But did they do the John Wick version of it though?
What do you mean John Wick version?
When John Wick in the movie John Wick, when he's firing and stuff, he'll run out of ammo. It's like and it's pretty close to spot on. Like I'm not saying it's perfect because there's going to be some misses here and there for some guns.
Yeah.
But you'll see him. He'll pop 12 clips out of a 9mm or some shit like that, and then he's reloading or I'm pretty certain one scene he throws the gun at somebody because he runs out of ammo.
No. This.
But it's also future technology where it's I don't know how many bullets are in this clip, and it's
He's just got an automatic gun with extra clips ready to go, and it's just a trash man. Why does he have that? Is Neo?
It's hard out here on the streets, man. It's hard out here on the streets.
Yeah. Well,
picking up that trash, there might be some hooker right there. You don't know what she's gonna do. Might pull a knife.
Yeah.
Might pull a shiv. Who knows?
So, that being one scene that was really particularly kind of, I got really hung up on that.
Yeah, that one, and also the one guy they captured, the prison had pretty much a noose built in, and they hung a noose around him.
Yep.
And then all he had to do was jump and lift his legs, and he killed himself.
Yeah.
And it's who designs this to be I guess if they're our prisons are overpopulated. If they want to kill themselves, let them kill themselves.
Interrogation room.
It's their interrogation room.
Yeah.
So we don't really want to pay for him to go into prison, so we'll just let him. It was pretty much he had a
stop giving the world ideas, Max. Stop giving him ideas.
He pretty much had a collar that attached to the roof. Then he had maybe a foot of slack.
It's just one of those things that Neo Tokyo kind of just writes off. Oh boy, there sure are a lot of. Weird, strange suicides involved with these interrogations these days. Must be some strange methods they're employing, And they just kind of write it off to keep prison costs low.
Yeah, shit happens. That's how it goes.
Oh, of course.
That was one that was really particularly bad as well. This was kind of minor because it was Saturday morning cartoon-esque, where they are going to kill her in a fashion similar to iRobot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where they open up the back of her head and they're going to inject death juice in there.
That's the explanation. Pretty much, you get it's some liquid that will kill her.
But it's not just death juice. It's got a fucking skull and crossbones on it, and it's evil and red.
And then she switches.
She switches it. And we're made to believe our hero's gonna die, because, we're ever gonna fucking believe that.
Yeah,
but she switches it with, she could have just pretended to inject her brain. Stick a needle in there and have it be fine. But she could have just pretended to inject the stuff in. But no, she swapped it with,
some yellow juice.
With some yellow juice that wakes her
different.
Up. It's like some fucking Rockstar Energy or something that they just shot in there.
Yeah. Straight to the brain.
And I think it was either you or Mr. Franzman there who suggested that it was adrenaline.
Yeah, I think I said that because Major was kind of doped up in that scene. And then right after she got injected, she was writing kick-ass mode and ready to knock everyone out. So.
Turned right up to fucking 11, broke that knob off, man. If I were to think that was adrenaline, that is a fuckload of adrenaline to be put inside of a brain.
Or I was thinking more like an antidote, that she was sedated somehow, and then it was just here, we'll give you the antidote or whatever to stop the sedation.
I could not get over how cartoony and obnoxiously, oh boy, that's some evil juice they got there. It is so...
What the fuck is this? Texas back in the days? Oh boy, I say, sir, you best not be giving me that damn liquid, sir.
Exactly.
There you go.
The one that I had just thought of a little while ago, when we brought up our big bad guy there, continually the kind of ticks that something is up with our main character is that she has hallucinations of like a burning house. Yeah.
Hot type thing.
Yeah.
A burning home of sorts.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like a clue that something's not right with her brain, and you find out later that it's like, the stuff she's been putting in her isn't good for her. It's like mind control juice.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of evil juices in this movie.
Yeah. Some are in pill form.
Yeah, some are in pill form. Some are, fuck it. I'm not going there.
And some are.
Yeah.
Well, let's not touch base on that subject today.
You kind of find out that it's like, I guess like where they were captured or something.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna explain exactly.
Like
why,
what she was told was.
Let's not spoil the whole movie now.
Yeah, like what she was told was that her parents died in like a wreck of some sort, and she barely escaped, and her body
Like
wasn't useful. So they
Somali pirates or something.
Yeah, so they she was on a boat or something.
Yeah.
So they transferred her brain into this shell.
Yes.
Her ghost into the shell.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
CinemaSins ding right there.
Yeah, so
I'm
it's
sure
like,
a lot of people
they
were
had
saying that.
they had a chalkboard up in the editing room, making sure they got to at least 5.
Yeah.
So every time they put a tally up, they'd be like, "Oh, that's 1," and then if they got to 5, then it was a good movie.
It's like that scene in
56.
Cabin in the Woods when they're going over all the monster types, and they got like
That fucking whiteboard.
they got
such
70 different monster types. Like
That's
they're just
such
hitting
a
off.
stupid but such a funny movie.
They're just hitting off marks in like the making of this movie. They're like, oh, we gotta have that now.
Okay, speaking of that movie, I watch honest trailers. One of my, time of the night videos that I watch. So there's that, and I watch react videos, right? Fine Brothers react, they're good stuff too. But anyways, going to the honest trailers thing, I love how he brings up that out of everything, the stoner fucking survives and saves the day. But not even that. The fucking coffee mug he had that was a bong.
Yeah.
And he kills somebody with it.
I wouldn't say survives. They kind of die at the end, I think.
They don't really specify. Like, I think he might, but don't specify. They both do. Like, it just shows the whole transaction.
I'm inclined to believe that when you have a big tunnel of doom where like eldritch gods are being contained, that if you're standing in that when the giant eldritch god arm comes out, you're probably gonna get smooshed.
Probably.
It's not a great.
It's not a good position to be in.
Tuck and roll.
That being said, my final problem with Ghost in the Shell, that I kind of just picked up on, our bad guy who is implied to have like, I think been uploaded to the internet. I think he implies.
Yeah, he implied a lot of things, but didn't explain anything.
Yeah, he says like, I have been reborn many times. My name is this. For this existence or something along
He was pretty much okay with dying, and then
he just kind of like rolled his eyes and disappeared.
Yeah.
I guess he gets shot.
I guess he gets shot.
That was the really slow face grab machine that took a minute to smash the guy's head. They had a spider tank that was gonna kill the puppet master type guy was the guy really the real bad guy. So the guy you thought was a bad guy, and
the big evil businessman named Cutter. His name is Cutter.
Yeah, you can't trust a guy with a verb name. Is that a verb? Sure it is.
Like
it is now.
He's so maniacally evil that when he has the quote unquote villain in his like reticle, like his gun reticle, for up of like 10 seconds, he doesn't shoot him. But he takes the weird like penis arm out the mouth thing, and it like
think
he
of
grabs
like
in
the
head.
Matrix where the arm that picked up Neo.
Yes.
Think of that, but just big enough to grab your face.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And it's got like a spike in it that you could obviously see, but he doesn't use it, and he just picks him up. And like, is he gonna shoot him? I don't know. He could have shot him multiple times by now. But if he was being so fucking maniacal like a Disney villain, he would have just done that.
Next, he's gonna pull like the whole like James Bond thing. Let me tell you my plan while I have your face in my grasp.
To be fair, if he has like a spike in his hand that he can use at any point in time, I'd tell somebody my fucking plan.
No, but then
think about it.
Things happen.
If the motherfucker tries to get out, just right through the fucking face.
It's just it's a lot of it was so, I would say like contrite to like cliche Hollywood tropes.
Yes.
It's just a lot of it felt like not fun to watch, if anything.
There was that one fight scene where they had like the tasers. I felt like I was having a stroke. Like it was a pitch black scene. All it was like people with like cattle prods trying to get the one person, and all it was like cutting and flashing of bright blue lights. I'm like, might as well be having a rave in here, jeez, and it was not fun to watch.
Yeah, that was the one thing you did tell me after you saw it.
Well, here's the thing that bugged me that I had thought of earlier. I've been kind of pussyfooting my way to get to it.
A little.
So, at some pivotal point in the movie, she gets captured right after that scene.
Yeah.
And she sees
because she has a seizure.
She sees the villain guy has a tattoo of a burning house. Why does he have that? I don't know if he got that after possessing that body, or whether or not because he says, quote unquote, I've been reborn many times. I get that he's kind of implying that he's gone into separate bodies. Does he get this tattoo that is a pivotal plot point on every body?
Yes.
Yeah.
If he goes from body to body, why does he care what happens to that one? Why would he get a tattoo? Well,
the memory, the honor, man. It's like one of those things. You know how you like, the idea is, you mark your headboard after you've been laid or whatever the hell, like that whole notches in a belt type thing. It's a tattoo. It's a reminder of his success.
But he only has one.
He only has one success story. The rest have been shit. He wants to remember the one.
I get the feeling that he's been body to body, like almost body hopping essentially.
Yeah.
And that he just kind of possesses the bodies that kind of break down, and he just kind of like, when he's done with it, he finds a new host that he possesses. That again,
that's a toy body.
That is a pivotal plot point, that she sees this burning house thing that is relevant to her backstory, and I don't know whether the body just happened to have that, or if he went out of his way to get that done on his pec.
That whole character had like one line of explanation and like a million questions that he brought, where he was just like, he was like early season Lost.
Yeah.
Where he was just like, let's just look at this thing that's questionable. Look at this thing that's questionable.
There's going to be a sequel.
What about this other stuff that you didn't explain yet? Oh, don't worry about that. It was kind of like the origin story to like a Spider-Man origin story where it's like, oh, they treated it like that, like, oh, everyone knows this character, how he's so obvious, and everyone's like, who the hell's this guy? I know nothing about him.
Yeah.
At least, I know we're touching back on Marvel again, that was our first podcast, but like, at least we can guarantee that in Homecoming when it comes out, we're not going to get the whole 15 minutes of, oh, Uncle Ben died, and that's how I became Spider-Man. I knew I had to use my responsibilities.
Don't get your hopes up. They're going to go there.
No, like, at least Batman vs. Superman, like, goddamn, why does it always have to come back to the fucking comic books? Anyways, like, we saw Batman vs. Superman, and they had, like, they recapped, like, the Batman origin story, but they did it in, like, 5 minutes flat.
No, it was, like, 2 minutes.
Even better. It was literally, like, child Bruce Wayne, parents dead, he falls in well. Ta-da! That was it.
I mean, don't get me started on BVS. That was an okay movie.
Fuck, we should have had him for the first podcast, too.
I saw the director's cut of it. And,
oh, okay.
How long was that, 5 hours, or?
5.5?
Just over 3, I think, actually.
Yeah, what was it?
I know you guys are trying to get to a point, but I'm going to cut you off here and say it was okay.
Yeah.
There was some plot contrivances again.
The plot was...
It was
they felt like they were cutting corners. They were just like...
There were too many characters.
That's exactly what I said. I said they put too much into one movie.
Yeah.
They should have left the Wonder Woman as a standalone. That is my opinion. Like, they should have just had her origin story and just have her in the clips of the, like, Justice League thing that he looked at.
Even the emails are stupid. That should have been an after-credit scene.
Well,
that would have even been great, too. An after-credit scene would have been great.
I had this brought up to me. Isn't it stupid how he got those?
Yeah.
He goes and he's looking for the bathroom, and there's just a big server covered in glass with a fucking USB stick sticking out of it. He just plugs a fucking thumb drive in, and it just starts downloading everything illegal. It types in the search bar illegal goods, and it just downloads everything according to that.
Things I shouldn't know.
Yeah. Yeah, things Batman should not know, you know.
Well, speaking of reboots, because we brought up Spider-Man and everything, and we brought up YTV and how they're rebooting Reboot, or the old childhood show, which was kind of ridiculous. I actually did enjoy that show, because it was like a video game in a video game type idea. It was kind of nuts.
Some Tron type.
Yeah, kind of. Like, they were like in a computer, but like every challenge, it's like, oh man, you got to do something, but this time you're going to have to win a game. And oh fuck, what were those two guys? The red and blue guy.
Hack and Slash.
Great character. I love those guys. They're great. They're comical as hell.
I watched it when I was younger. I was a little babby bow when I saw it, but I don't really have too much like super fond memories of the show. Like,
well, I'm not sitting there saying it was the best show ever. I could go rewatch it like I can with a lot of other shows. You know what I mean? Like I can go back. Okay, I can't use that one as an example, but like there's a lot of shows where you'll go back and you'll want to rewatch that again. You know what I mean? Like
I can't think of one show I watched as like a 12-year-old or whoever you would have been when you watched Reboot and been like, I want to watch that show again. Everything I watched is, like.
Prime example, we rewatched the Power Rangers series together.
You watch 90%. I watched like a couple of them.
Doesn't matter. You still watched it with me.
I watched, but like
doesn't matter. You still watched it. That's irrelevant.
the closest thing to me that would be somewhat to that would be like, I watched Boy Meets World a lot as like a
I rewatched that too. Boy Meets World was good.
But
That's a show I could rewatch.
Yeah, but like I could watch a couple episodes. I couldn't watch that series again. It would be like.
I could. There's some episodes where I admit where you'll be like, man, I just want to skip this one. But like, I did that. Like, I did that a couple years ago, like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Pardon my opinion here, but I don't know if I could like trust you going, oh, that show holds up when you were watching like Family Channel sitcoms up until like 18 years of age.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust your rewatchability on your opinion of things.
To be fair, I was stuck with very limited shows.
Grew up during the internet's revolution.
The internet sucked shit up until like what 10 years ago.
Yeah, we had DSL growing up.
Yeah.
Kyle's not here. He'll hear this though.
Oh man.
Oh fuck.
I don't know. Like as far as the reboot goes.
Well, that was actually just to bring up reboots in general because we were discussing before we even recorded today how Disney specifically is doing 19 remakes of their original cartoons.
Here's the thing. Disney likes money.
Yes, people will give them money.
Well, of course.
I think The Lion King, with a reboot of The Lion King with CGI animals and no humans in the whole movie, is a stupid idea. But I like Donald Glover, who is apparently Simba. I watched The Lion King a shit ton. I'll watch that movie. But I'm not gonna watch like they had Cinderella come out, and I'm like, eh.
That one was apparently meh.
But
like I hear of really good things about Beauty and the Beast. Other than that whole, what was it? Some Alabama or some shit, some place in the States that boycotted it because LeFou is gay, or they like perceive him as a gay character.
I thought that was like a separate country.
No, that wasn't a state. That was a country. That was like.
It? Oh, I'm not 100% sure. I knew it started with an A. I just can't remember the name.
Yeah, that was like Austria or something.
Remember, there's a huge essay-length disclaimer on how stupid we are.
Yeah.
Yes.
We heard an A, so we assumed Alabama.
Yeah.
Well, A and against gays kind of just goes together, right?
Yeah, but like people talking about it, it was like, yeah, there was one scene, like pretty much you would have to interpret a lot to assume that he's gay in that movie, where it's like there's nothing even close. It pretty much just says he doesn't have a girlfriend.
Yeah, he doesn't have a girlfriend, and he like
he's
like the song Gaston, right? When he's singing to Gaston about how great he is, the idea is he's. Like, and that's him, like, saying how he views his, like, how Gaston looks in his eyes. He's this impeccable man type thing, right? And that's the, like, the subtle gay innuendos they put in there, the homosexuality, whatever you want to call it.
Veritable Cadillac of men.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Gaston's the best.
Yeah, Gaston's
I don't know why
the best.
Belle didn't go after him. Remember in the old movies, he was jacked. Like, it was awesome.
He's probably got a huge dick, and there's nothing we can do about it.
And then imagine Belle, where it's like she's gonna get Beast, and then all of a sudden she kisses him, and bam, he's just normal guy again. Yeah. Disappointment.
Pretty certain it started as bestiality to start, but okay.
I mean, as far as like the original story goes, I think it's all bad, anyways. I mean, the main character, the Beast, we're supposed to like because he's had this unfortunate affliction stricken on him, but
because I gotta stop you for 1 second. Did you watch the honest trailer about this?
No.
Or any videos about the original Beauty and the Beast story? Because they have like this huge rant about it, and if you pick out points from it, I'm gonna laugh really hard.
Well, I mean, it's just kind of general knowledge. I don't really watch honest trailers these days.
No.
I'm just talking in general videos.
It's gone from like you know, parody trailers to just kind of small editorials done in like a trailer format.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, it's a very minor focus shift, but it totally changes the feel of the video to me.
A little bit, yeah. But remember, when I'm watching them, I'm smoking up. So to me, I'm not noticing that shit. I'm just doing it for the entertainment value while I'm doing something.
Yeah. Now quiet down, Dumbo, while I make my point here.
Yeah.
He got his little hairy fucking form there from being a huge cunt to a stranger.
No, the thing was he didn't let some random lady on the street stay in his home.
Yeah.
That's not.
He's
like,
got a huge castle. He could have been a nice person and just.
But
the guy was like 10 years old when it happened, or 7 or some shit like that.
Yeah.
He was a kid. So you're telling me at 7 years old, some old broad comes up to you going, man, I need a place to stay. Your mom's not home. You're gonna be like, yeah, sure, come shack up.
He's a prince. Why does he even answer the door?
Yeah, they should have got Miss.
Clearly, shit was going down wrong.
Miss Potts should have answered it, and then she would have been like, "Sorry, ma'am, no, you can't hear."
There's a big plot hole in this origin story, and we're just finding it now.
No, man, if I were Belle, I'd be up on that guest on deck all day now. Like, that guy is an alpha.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, that's how I felt like LeFou, where it's just like, this is just some beta who's just like, oh, look at this guy who's the pinnacle of man, who's just like
a Cadillac
of men, as some would say. And then he's just like, I wish I could be that guy. I'm just going to talk up to him, and I will become his kiss ass, so then he would associate with a fool like LeFou. So pretty much, and then yeah, that's how I saw it. Like whenever I saw Beauty and the Beast, and it's just like, oh, he's gay because he likes Gaston. And he doesn't have he doesn't succeed with women.
It's 2017, all that shit, and all the politically correctness crap going on.
Sure.
Like at this point, like who cares about homosexuality? Like yeah, I get it's been like it was so fucking wrong for the longest time, and like yeah, we're still getting over that hump.
Well, I mean, again, the country that disallowed this is like probably fucking east of here.
Yeah,
somewhere not in the first world. You know?
Probably pretty close.
They don't have 7-Eleven with every Slurpee flavor under the sun like we do.
Okay, well, since we're bringing up Disney reboots, so Mulan's coming out in a couple years, and I know we've all seen the episode already of Rick and Morty.
You know what they're gonna do?
What?
Instead of Eddie Murphy like weird CGI magic onto like what's his name? Mushu, yeah. They're not gonna use him.
Dishonor on your cow.
I have $100 on they're gonna get Kevin Hart to do that because he is today's funny black man.
You know what? We have this on recording too. If this happens, I'll pay you half if Mac pays you the other half.
I mean,
I could easily see it. Like
so could I.
He is the guy. Apparently, Russia was urged to ban Beauty and the Beast.
Really?
Oh, but they won't. That's all.
But they won't. That's the end of it.
Hong Kong group wants to ban it, but they don't sound like they did. But I can see if one that actually...
Well, it's been out for so long. Like, if it was banned, we would have known about it already.
Oh, I'm seeing banned Alabama.
I told you it was banned Alabama.
Just a drive-in bans it.
Oh, whatever. It was still banned. It was banned out of theater. It wasn't banned, like...
Yeah, I think a country in, like, Eastern Europe or something did that.
Hey, I wasn't wrong when I said Alabama.
It's different than a whole state banning it and one theater.
All I said was it was banned in Alabama. I didn't specify because I wasn't sure. I just said it was banned, and technically it still was. So
look, it doesn't matter who's right. You're both wrong.
Okay. We're all wrong.
Yeah. We're all wrong.
We're all wrong.
We're all in the wrong at some point.
I guarantee if anybody is listening to this, they're like writing up a checklist right now on how we're all fucking morons.
You know? They're gonna get here, and then that's when they're like, "Oh, well, I gotta erase some now. They were kind of right about us making a list."
If you want to tell us how wrong we are, tweet at us at Tomfoolery Pod, and then you can.
Whoever's editing this, fucking like go back, like later down, set up a Shark Robot site, and we'll make some like what do you call that? Silk prints of our faces on a shirt or something, and then just like insert a Shark Robot link to those in like a Microsoft Sam voice, and we'll just have that going. So, yeah, like I said, they're gonna reboot that, and I guarantee you guys Kevin Hart's gonna be in that.
Oh yeah.
And it's not because like he's actually a funny guy. It's just because he's Hollywood's go-to funny black man right now.
Right now, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. See, but apparently, like they're trying to make what was it? There was another movie that came out recently. Oh, no, actually, no, that's not the right one. I'm thinking of. I was thinking of Get Out, but I'm completely wrong. They're actually trying to make it where it's from what I've read so far. They're trying to make it a strictly Asian cast.
Oh yeah, because that's completely necessary.
For Mulan?
For Mulan, yes.
Oh. You're not going to get Christina Aguilera to be Mulan, or what?
No, like, I think they're trying to stay pretty true to it, and, like, especially because Ghost in the Shell, as we mentioned earlier, had so much whitewash, like, literally, even, like, I've read an article, I can't guarantee these are all correct, because it's the internet, articles are fucking all over the place.
Don't worry, we've got a big essay link.
Yes, essay link. We've referenced that so much, and I'm not writing shit, so... I'll write a little statement, that's it.
In the bio, we'll insert essay-long statement of how dumb we are.
Yes.
No, just have like a disclaimer, and then just have like a whole paragraph dedicated to like the origins of Darth Plagueis from like the prequels. Just have that.
Just in case you wanted to know, this is
No. As far as the whitewashing goes on Ghost in the Shell, anybody who has a problem with that is just not familiar with the source material.
Yeah, well, the thing is, though, is with that, like, apparently a lot of people boycotted it, so it didn't do as well as they expected or they had planned because of it, and because it's gotten so much flack. And that, like, I can't say guaranteed where that comes from, who boycotted it.
Personally, I think it didn't get enough sales because it's a fairly... I wouldn't say...
it's pretty niche.
I wouldn't say it's exactly niche, but
it's got a small demographic of
Yeah.
people that would enjoy that.
Like
movie.
even people who like, you know, anime and like Japanese media, it's not super popular in that group anyway, like that community anyhow.
Yeah.
But if people were to get upset about the whitewashing, which is again a absurd thing to get upset about.
In that regard.
In this regard specifically.
Yeah.
And I do agree that they kind of made a mistake about focusing on that a little bit towards the end of the movie. It's not as bad as everyone makes it out to be. It's just they kind of explain who she is, where she comes from.
Oh, okay.
And who she was before, and that's it.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's as bad as everyone makes out, but the idea is that people are getting upset because Scarlett Johansson, a white person, is portraying a character named Moriko Kusanagi, who is a Japanese person.
I'm not gonna lie, you said that pretty well. Like, if I was going to say that, I would have fucked that up. I would have been like, Judge,
Either way, they...
hey, I'm gonna give a compliment. It's due.
A lot of people don't understand that, like, by them complaining about her being a white person, they miss out on all of the themes of the original medium being disassociation of the body.
Well, yeah, exactly. The shell could literally be anything.
It could have been anything.
It could have been a dog, for all we know.
Well, I mean, you gotta be human.
Well, motherfucker, it was just the hypothetical.
It's not called Ghost in the Pupper. You know,
Ghost in the Pupper. New movie, Ghost in the Pupper. We're gonna do this.
There's a lot of themes about, like, just not, like, self-identification not being true to what the person is. And that was, like, I wouldn't say it's, like, heavy-handed in the first movie, but there was, like, undertones of that. A lot of them, too.
Oh, okay.
And people getting upset over this, it is kind of, like, I wouldn't say ironic, but it is very fitting that people are, like, who look to be getting offended over fucking anything these days.
Get offended
pick
about
that
it?
to get offended about.
Yeah.
And they couldn't be more fucking wrong about every single argument about it.
Yeah, especially that one where it's like, that movie's not getting made with nameless Asian Japanese woman as the lead. Like,
well, there's like, I can't guarantee that they are strictly from Japan, but like, there are some Asian actresses that are very well.
But like
I watched Y50. There's one,
yes,
at least
very
one
well.
They're very well.
Very well, very good.
But, like,
yeah, I realized I fucked that up too.
Here, what's her name?
Yeah.
Well,
Who's buying a ticket because she's in it? Or people brought in...
I just said that there are good ones out there.
People brought up, like, the girl from Pacific Rim, who...
Sure.
Yeah, it's like... yeah, she could be a great actor, but if the writer for Ghost in the Shell goes to... What was it? Was it Warner Brothers who made that? Or whoever's the...
There was like 2 Chinese founding companies.
Okay,
No,
either way, but like, if they go to that company, be like, we got this big seller, some obscene anime that isn't huge, and our lead is this lady who no one knows anything about.
That's right.
And it's like, that's
not gonna get fun.
That movie's not getting making any money in North America.
Nope.
No money.
Not even in fucking Japan either, because they don't care about a Western adaptation.
Yeah, and it's
full of white people. Don't get me started on them adapting bullshit. Oh god.
Just the anger rising that tone, man.
I'll get to that in a fucking moment. Holy shit.
I could just see the vein popping out your forehead, just like, oh.
So, they could not sell that movie with anybody but ScarJo. Well, they could have sold it with someone else, but they have to be popular in Hollywood.
Yeah, if they did like a Jennifer Lawrence or something, like
that could have sold.
That could have sold, but like they're not going to do it with some nameless or a person with not a known name.
Yeah, and as far as I know, I mean, I'm assuming that her payroll's up there because of the Marvel success, but I assume that she takes lower amounts or that she cares more about the product because she starred in stuff like Under the Skin, which is you've never even fucking heard of that.
Nope.
And the stuff she did in that movie where they put
I'm not just hearing that sentence alone. I'm not gonna lie. That sounded so bad. Just the stuff that she did in that movie. It's like, what happened in this movie?
some of the scenes in that movie, she is driving a van around. She's like an alien disguised as a human.
Oh, okay.
You know, kind of think species, but without all the bad sex.
Okay.
They had a fucking camera in the dash of this van, and she drove around Scotland, picking up random dudes. Not fucking them. I wish she did. I'd love to see that. But she was like picking these dudes up and like having genuine conversations with them because she's not quite as popular in the Scotland area. She's not quite a household name there.
When was that?
When they were filming Under the Skin, obviously.
No, like when did that movie come out? Sorry.
It's already out.
No, like when did it come out?
Year, buddy.
Oh fuck, I don't know. It's
okay.
So a couple years ago.
Yeah,
couple years ago. Oh, okay.
No, she was not exactly not famous. She's been in a few.
Oh, so it was in her like climbing moments, not when
she's already been in a couple Marvel movies.
Oh, okay. So that's probably like after Iron Man 2 type thing.
Yeah, it's not like her in like the Prestige and like I watched that movie recently. Saw she was in it.
I like that. Saw it recently. She's in it.
That being said,
yeah.
I get the feeling she cares about the art form of filmmaking.
Yes.
You know, and that she was willing to take a bit lower of a pay cut to be in a movie that she is genuinely interested in. Whereas like someone like Jennifer Lawrence might not take a movie because, well, I feel like she's just actress lady. She'll take any role as long as her agent's okay with it and it's going to make money.
Yeah.
You know? I think that's why she was the character in that. And as far as like casting a relatable star for the movie, ScarJo would have been the way to go because it is a Japanese story being funded by China. No, Chinese companies. They were two of them actually. I can't remember the names because you know.
Yeah,
I'm not familiar with the language.
Yes. We are excessively white Englishmen.
Yeah, not just white. We're Canadians.
Oh yeah, we're like literally complete opposite section.
Yeah, exactly. And they don't want a Japanese character in a movie that's going to be playing a lot in China.
Yeah.
You know that just doesn't fly. That's why there's a lot more Chinese folks starring in Hollywood movies these days.
Fair enough.
Yeah. That being said, yeah, I think.
Yen. I like Donnie Yen. I like the Ip Man series. I really do. I gotta be honest.
Wasn't he in that Rogue One?
Yes, he was. He played the blind guy. Man, you can ask Mac. I saw The Force Awakens with you, or Rogue One with you, didn't I?
I think so.
Yeah, I know. Like anytime I see a movie and Donnie Yen's in it, I'm like, dude, Donnie Yen. Yeah, like he was in Triple X, the new Triple X that came out. Donnie Yen was in it. I was pretty fucking stoked because he's great.
You don't know what his character was. You just knew he was blind and he whacked people with big fucks.
I don't remember the name of the character actually, but he has what is it called? He has one of the lightsaber crystals in his staff.
I'm with the Force. The Force is with me.
Yeah, that's why. That's part of.
He just had a wooden fuck stick with like a crystal in it.
Yeah.
Well, the crystal is the way of connecting to the Force, right?
Did they explain that in the movie?
Nah,
really.
They did and they didn't. They mentioned that he had one, but they didn't really go in depth into it too much.
Okay.
But that's kind of like a small backstory from what I've read about him, at least.
It was more like he said what kind of crystal it was, and if you knew that's what was in a lightsaber, then you got that. But otherwise, like I'm not a big Star Wars person, but I'm just like, oh, it's a.
He's just got a mysterious Chinese Jedi crystal.
Yeah, and it's like, and then the people who like are big Star Wars fans are like, oh, that's
one of those things.
One of those things. They make lightsabers.
I know that.
I'm part of the team.
So like it doesn't specify whether he was a Jedi at one point and just has the crystal from his lightsaber or what the case may be. Like I didn't read into it. I didn't look into his character enough. But like that's the thing is he's got that stick with the Jedi crystal in it. So like as far as all intents and purposes is he controls the Force with his stick type thing. His stick is his own version of a lightsaber without having the whole, cauterizing wounds after you cut an arm off type thing. So that but as a whole, Donnie Yen's characters in most of his shows, like movies and stuff, I really like because he's a big reason as to why kung fu movies that are released now are different, and the action scenes are better, because of the fact that he's not specifically just him, but I know like he's taken part in this. He's assisted in the choreography of the fight scenes to mesh better with
Okay.
it. Because
He's
like
like a modern day Jackie Chan, but without all like the bad humor.
modern day Bruce Lee.
Oh. No,
That would be no. It's because Ip Man, the character he plays, is the guy who trains Bruce Lee. So he learned the kung fu style of what's called Wing Chun. He learned that at a young age and everything, and because of the role and everything, so he knows it.
Okay.
So it really portrays into that. So and Wing Chun is what Bruce Lee took and changed into his, which is Wing Chun Do, something like that, something along those lines. I know I have it. I'm probably wrong.
Shall I reference that paragraph disclaimer?
Yes. Reference it. Reference it now.
Butchering all of these words, I bet.
Yes. No, Wing Chun. I know.
If you want to play a game, make sure you
take
a drink every time we reference that paragraph, and then see how well it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, if you have like a bingo board, that's just like the free space.
Yeah.
It just says paragraph reference.
Yeah. So, but because of he's been in kung fu since he was 4 years old, I think it was.
Okay.
So he's had all this and then acting and everything like that. So he's been able to take the acting part of it where it's fake and you're not making the connection like you would when you're hitting somebody. Like, yeah, you probably slap them a little bit, but you're not going to like full cuff them in the face, right? Yeah. So he's taken that, but with the aggressive style of kung fu and been able to twist them and work with them together in a choreographic way where it's fluid, it looks beautiful. Specifically in Ip Man 3, it's on Netflix, it released last year. He actually has a fight scene with Mike Tyson, where Mike Tyson's being a boxer and everything, and Donnie Yen's being his kung fu master guy, and the fight scene's like flawless because of the fact that like it looks like Mike Tyson's actually trying to kick his ass. And I get it's choreography and that's how it's supposed to look, but it's done so well where you can't see how poorly it's made. If you go back and watch, what's it called? Hidden Tiger something Dragon?
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
That's it, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I knew it was one of the way or the other. Yeah. If you look at the Kung Fu style and all of that happened then, and look at the way the fighting styles have come now, it's drastic change. Yeah. For the better, of course. And that's just everything. Everything gets better with time, right? Everything gets better. You upgrade, you just get better.
I'd like to see like kung fu movie done in the style of like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Where it's like really over the top.
Crouching Dragon, Hidden Tiger.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Okay, so
yes, you and I both just.
I've never seen
Crouching Hidden Tiger Dragon.
I know how off the walls the kung fu is, but I'd like to see that style of more like martial arts done in a fight scene between like. Mike Tyson going for the ear bite on Donnie Yen, and he's like bouncing off walls with his mouth open, just like just chomping as he goes.
It's like a zombie.
Just automatic chomper.
Exactly. And there's like all the dynamic camera angles and like every scene you can just see his mouth going for that ear bite.
You just see a zoom in on the face tattoo in the mouth going.
I actually reference Mike Tyson a lot at work. Because with a throw with the axe, people tend to bend their arms a lot, so the blade comes right near their ear. Oh. So I'll end up being like, as much as Mike Tyson was a good boxer, I don't want to go home with an ear. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so it's really funny how that actually came up because you're bringing up how he bit off the ear.
Have you ever brought that up on your first go ahead of talking to strangers on the internet about how you throw axes for a living?
No.
You fucking weirdo! Like
I'm a lumberjack. Leave me alone. Actually, like the company Bad Axe Throwing that I work with isn't the only one. Like there's Battle Axe is another one.
Is this a Canadian-centric business?
Bad Axe Throwing specifically, as far as I know, yes, because we have 10 locations across Canada and one in the States, which is Chicago at the moment. We're supposed to be opening up another one in I think it was.
Like is
California.
Is like
I think Colorado, California, or something.
Is workwear like a fucking button-up like plaid shirt? Or
no,
something?
I got a shirt that just has a logo.
Wearing that shirt right there.
No, I got a
red.
It's got our logo. It has a bearded man with a toque and 2 axes on it. It says Bad Axe Throwing.
Is like a beard par for the course for the job?
No, you don't need it for the job, but we like to say that it helps because you channel your inner lumberjack through your beard.
God damn.
No, fuck yeah. Well, we joke about it. It was really great, actually. I had a.
You have to look good, feel good, play good.
I had a group this past Saturday. Great bunch of guys. They were really funny. We were all poking fun at each other. Great fun. But that was it. And he asked about the beard too. Same question. And we're like, oh yeah, it comes from it. And he had this little thin chin strap beard, right? Like, cause it must have recently shaved or whatever. He's like, so what am I gonna get from this? And we're like, you might get it in.
You won't hurt yourself?
Yeah, you're not gonna hurt yourself?
You might get like a tiny penis quiver instead of a full lumberjack hard on. Like that.
Full fist.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I gotta interject for a moment. I have to empty the wine sack.
Alright, well,
like
we
sharing
will
that
pause
with
it briefly then.
Back!
Hold on. And we're back now, jeez.
No, let me do it. And we're back!
Everyone has to do it!
I like mine the best, even though it got cut half out because...
You know what? I'm gonna keep that little quiet spot where you're like, what time is it? And then you pause it.
I didn't
'Cause
say
it makes
anything.
sense.
I didn't say
Exactly,
anything.
it makes sense, right? Keep
Just,
it in there.
I
pause
assumed you were
it.
competent enough to press the button properly.
I swore I hit the button. I don't know what the hell. I might have double clicked it by
I
accident.
just think of Rush Hour. Hit the button! It's a little kid who's just yelling at him.
Oh, man.
Okay, so speaking of live actions that we really don't want to see, because we got Lion King coming out that we think might be pretty poor. We'll see it because it's Lion King, let's be fucking honest.
I'm not saying it's gonna be bad, I just think what's the point?
Yeah, it seems a little ridiculous.
But it's more for the people who are like... Lion King was made in what, like 94?
It was made in 3 days.
90, actually, I think it was 93. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, 93,
so like-
94.
So like
Yeah,
20,
about that.
20 plus years ago, it'd be like, let's get the young kids who don't want to watch a VHS tape to...
You get VHSs, man. Those were the days. You didn't have... If you stopped your movie, all you had to do was put it back in. It was at the same spot you left it at, man. You didn't have to find your scene and go through it like these DVD bullshit.
I don't know. I don't miss that, man. As
No.
much as I like the smell of like a freshly played VHS tape, it's kind
Or
of
like-
like a warm plasticky smell.
Or
But
when you have
also-
to rewind it, you get that...
Yeah,
the whole
I
time.
like the scene select better than I was around this time or in a DVD or whatever. You could be like, oh, that's around chapter 20. You're looking through the chapter select now. You're just like fast forwarding.
I want to relive my childhood, okay?
I also
wanna
had-
be back in the 90s.
I also had the VHS player where it's like it either fast forwards like at 2 times speed, or you have to like
rewind
just-
out a minute.
or you just have to like just guess how far you're like. Oh, that seems... It's like a blank page, and then it's like, oh, that seems about right, play.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still another half hour, stop, fast forward, wait for another 10 seconds, and you're like, oh, okay.
I don't know about you guys. I personally associate VHSs with the old school rewinding, rewind machine, essentially.
Yeah, where you
just-
put it in, just hit rewind, and...
That thing was a fucking jack-in-the-box without the luxury of a clown, man. Like, you would hear it going, and it would slowly wind in. You're like, this is it, this is it. And then it would get you every time, like, at a different, like, time. Because with jack-in-the-boxes, you can tell when it's going to come out, because when the song ends. Yeah.
Okay.
And it would get you at the same time. These things, they would just, like, whatever the fuck you were watching, it'd be like, fucking...
Yeah, like if you actually watched it all the way past the credits, it might take a bit longer, but if you stopped it right at the end of the movie and put it back in that thing, it'd be a lot quicker, right? Like,
Yeah.
you never know.
Didn't have the comfort of a funny clown popping out.
When we were young.
Speaking of reboots and funny clowns, have you seen the original It?
I saw some different reviews and things about it. I've never actually watched it.
You've never actually... I saw it once.
No,
I've seen it once. I watched it, what was it, about 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
Like, I've seen some scenes from it, and Tim Curry's like, I know
Tim
he's supposed to
Curry.
be, he's supposed to be scary, but he's a fucking riot in that movie.
yeah.
Or that
He,
series.
like, see, the thing is, though, is, like, in that time, in the era it was filmed, right? Like, he came off as scary for kids, because that was the idea. He was supposed to be scary towards kids, not adults.
You didn't have to put Tim Curry in makeup to make people scared, man.
Yeah. Yeah, but also it's like, you look at, like, scary movies of that time, where it's like, what was it, Carrie?
Carrie was
Yeah.
one.
Big one where it was, or is it Psycho, where it was like people were like screaming and like running out of the theater?
That's Carrie.
Was that Carrie?
Yes.
With the blood scene, where
Yeah,
it's
the
like,
pig blood that got dropped on her at the
yeah,
top.
where it's like that's like an average movie these days.
Yeah.
And it's
That,
like,
that's mild these days. They remade that movie and it was
no,
still
I'm saying like
mild.
an average movie, like a Disney movie has
Oh.
that much.
Yeah, a Disney movie. Disney movie has that much blood
I
nowadays.
wish Disney movies had that much talk about periods, for fuck's sake. Make them at least more relatable to children growing up, you know? Here's what's going on with your body. You might gain telepathic powers accordingly.
That Inside Out movie that was all about the feelings and bullshit. Yeah. Apparently a lot of people use that when it comes to helping with mental illness and stuff, so who knows? They might make an Inside Out 2, your body through puberty.
What if they did one of those with like, and they were dealing with mental issues, and it was done like an old school horror movie where one of the emotions was so off balance it was killing off the other emotions.
First, I'm thinking of what is it, Ghost in the Pupper, where it's got to be just like John Wick, but instead of the dog dying, he dies, and the Ghost of a Pupper, then the puppy takes over. Yeah. That was my first thought.
That's the parody of it, like Ghost and Pupper in the Shell.
Pupper in the Shell.
Like when they were saving the human, they got the human brain mixed up with a dog, and they just shoved a fucking doggo brain in there. The action scenes, like, it's just the main character thinking that the enemy's guns are bones, and they're just biting at them, biting.
Yeah, then all now we gotta do is just Inside Out Horror Edition.
No, it would be called. No, because Inside Out is already kind of like a metaphor for murder.
No, that's what I was saying. It's
no, the logo's done in the shape of a knife. It's called Outside In.
There you go.
Actually, that works.
Yeah.
Because he's trying, like, he's on the inside and he's trying to bring the outside and he wants out, right?
Yeah.
And he's killing off everybody to try and get out. Oh, that'd be great.
We were gonna get on. I brought up
Dragon Ball Z or Attack on Titan live action.
Yeah, I brought that up because I'd mentioned about how bad. I wouldn't say this is actually by definition an adaptation.
Okay.
Because they just took it from the source material and made a movie out of it. You watched that with me. I don't.
The first season we watched.
I don't think you remember much about it, but.
No, because I only watched the one season. I haven't touched back since.
Yeah,
I've been waiting for season 2 before I.
They have a character in it named Mikasa. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong.
No, I remember the name though.
Her backstory is that she is a Japanese or Asian person in a land where almost all of humanity has been wiped out, and that people who are in the business of selling humans, obviously the dying breed of a person is worth more, because it's exotic. So her story is that she is a young Babybel, and her family is minding their own business when these evil men come and kill the mother because she resists, and she is going to be sold off into what I assume is fucking sex slavery. They never explicitly say it, but it's kind of implied.
Yeah.
Or is that what you want it to imply?
Yeah, because that 8-year-old child is totally...
Okay, it was a joke. You didn't need to go that dark with it. Holy crap!
I know we're talking about, like, Japanese material here, but I don't think they go that young.
Wow, that was just dark so fast!
You brought it there.
I didn't think he would go that far with it.
Paragraph disclaimer. You can't prove me wrong. The paragraph says otherwise.
I proved myself wrong, so you don't have to.
Okay, keep going.
So, her whole story is that, and the reason she's like kind of an important character, is that she's Japanese. In the adaptation of it, they're all Japanese. What's the point of having her as a character? Like, what's her backstory? She's a white person? No, you can't have that. They didn't have any...
No, you kidding me? Trump would be pissed.
Oh, don't bring that up.
We don't need this.
I don't need to hear about that fucking orange in my life.
The Cheeto.
Yeah.
Anyways, can you go?
I haven't seen the adaptation because I just didn't care to. After I heard about them rewriting...
Oh, it's already out?
Yeah, it's out.
Oh, I never watched it.
Like most Japanese adaptations of their own source materials, they fucking butchered it. They're not in a far future, essentially. It's like modern day-ish, where they have proper buildings of like modern buildings. They have cars. They don't have the horseback battalion that they have in the show.
Oh, that's gay. Cause that's what makes it like so different, so unique as a show. Because like the idea is, like you said, like the world's kind of like on its last legs, so to speak. Yeah. And like that's just it. It's like over time you won't have people who know how to repair cars and stuff like that. So you're gonna, in a sense, you're gonna go backwards in time.
You know why they did it? It's because cars are cheaper than horses to film with. And it's like things like things like that they cut corners on just to
like I get it in some senses, but like you could have even had like a small battalion, like 4 horses, 4 guys on horses, just to like put them in there.
Or use the same horrible CGI they used on the Titans to just make horses.
That, or they can do like the shitty thing like 300 and just CGI an entire army of horses.
Yeah, you get like 2.
Yeah, get like 2 and then a green screen.
Copy, Control C, Control V.
Control V, just keep doing that.
Yeah,
Just
Control
Control and then just hold the V button. That should fill out the paragraph.
That's how CGI works, right?
It's exactly how it works. I knew it.
Oh shit! I used Control X. No.
No.
So I had to do it over again.
I just moved the horses over.
It's more budget gone.
So you actually watched the live action one?
No, after reading about all the changes they had to make to the story, I just didn't care for it.
No, it's not. It doesn't feel like the same story.
They changed so much that a lot of characters just seem pointless to have.
Okay.
Like, oh god.
So it basically took the essence of the story, cut away everything that kind of makes it valuable, and just threw the plot in.
Certain characters valuable, essentially. Yeah. Like, again, the biggest offender was Mikasa's backstory, that her being a Japanese character in a environment filled with white people. It just, that it removes all purpose for her. She's just now a badass character.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, I guess also it's a thing where Attack on Titan, their arcs are a lot more than 2 hours long or whatever. Where it's like to get... Well, I guess like something like that's such an easy... it's an easy fix where just to be like, oh, we didn't make everyone...
Well, the circumstance surrounding it makes kind of sense.
It makes sense, but it's like...
Because you've got every character is a white person and they're making it in Japan.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to go out... Like, I don't think there's that many Japanese fluent-speaking white actors in Japan.
Yeah.
That are popular, at least, in that country.
Yeah.
So they just went the easy route and just got a whole bunch of Japanese people and rewrote it.
Yeah.
But why would they change it to be in modern times, then? Why would they have cars instead of that? It just screams budget cuts, you know?
Yeah.
Let's just find a filming location and use some CG to fix it instead of coming up with new sets around it.
I'm curious how they pulled off the swords that they use. The grapplers or whatever you want to call them.
They just CGI'd the fuck out of them.
Oh, that's really lame.
Yeah, and it loses kind of impact because the whole idea of them using big, like, X-Acto blade kind of swords, they just break off if the blade blunts, you know. That stuff is cool, and you can do that in animation because, you know, you can take a lot of liberties with how things are drawn. You can't do that in real life, it just looks dumb.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like most things, you're dealing with a source material that has to do with giant, naked, dumb-looking zombies.
Yeah.
It's gonna look dumb anyways. They should have just gone full ham with it and kept a lot of it. And I'm sure a lot more people would have been happy with the final product. But that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're always going to have people who have an issue with it. Speaking of live-action adaptations of anime, did you ever watch Death Note back in the day?
Quite a segue.
There's so many conditions to it. It's like, was it made in 1998?
Exactly. Have you watched Death Note? Because I know you're kind of, like, you're not a huge, you need to watch all these animes, but, like, you watch some from time to time.
I've never seen Death Note.
Okay, I was just curious because they are making a live adaptation of it. I don't know anything about the comic or the anime or anything of that sort other than the fact that it's about a notebook. You write someone's name in it, they die.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
All you gotta know, and all I know, is that Willem Dafoe is apparently the perfect casting choice for...
The villain? Or, like, that big black dude?
Yes, the big black dude, Willem Dafoe.
The
big black dude
ghost thingy that follows the damn fucking guy around. I don't know his damn name. He's black, white face, fucking spiked up hair.
The big black dude named Ryuk.
Sure, that.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. Is that actually his name?
I'm probably pronouncing it wrong again. Shall we go for this obscene paragraph reference here?
Always the paragraph reference.
Is Willem Dafoe like the Green Goblin, or because that's his best acting role of all time?
Dude, yeah, everybody knows that Oscar award-winning role as Green Goblin.
That was such a
made audiences cry globally.
He got snubbed.
Famous line. Finish it!
Oh, fuck. Actually, Willem Dafoe, like, I've seen this on the internet. A bunch of people are like, man, he'd make the best Joker. Like, just his facial features and stuff. Like, if you put the makeup on it, it will just look good.
I know I talk about dicks a lot, but you know Willem Dafoe's got, like, a huge dick?
That's apparently we'll put that on there.
I don't know.
No, that doesn't need to be on the disclaimer. I've seen it.
Just goes up to Willem Dafoe. Hey, man, drop a trowel.
that schlong is as big as Green Goblin's noses, man. It's... He did, like...
Does he call it the Green Goblin, or what?
No. It's It's called the Red Hulk.
Even better.
Don't want to make it angry.
He did like old theater stuff apparently. I think.
Yeah.
Again, that's something you could put on it. But there was one in particular where, in true Willem Dafoe style, he had a role where he was like naked, and he had to like prance around like a fucking moron, and doing a little jig, and his big old wiener's hanging out. That man, hey, like take like a take like a bag of Smokies and just wag one around, and that's what it looked like.
Well,
here's another tidbit of knowledge for you about Willem Dafoe's penis.
Motherfucker, what?
He was in the movie called Antichrist, right? It is a Lars von Trier movie. You guys never heard of him?
No.
Fucking hipster I am. Actually, I don't like Lars von Trier, but that's a different reason.
That's another reason why you're a hipster.
That's another reason why I hate everything about life. He was in a movie called Antichrist, and from what I understand, there's a scene of penetration in the movie during a sex scene, and they had to have like a dick double for Willem Dafoe because his dick was apparently too big, so they had to get someone who was more moderately, endowed.
Adequate.
Yeah, endowed. They didn't want that big old fucking Frankfurter in the actress's secret spots.
Oh wow, this just took such a sexual turn.
On that note, I don't know where to go.
Yeah, I guess on that note, we'll wrap up. So thanks for listening in if you lasted the entire time. I apologize for some of the obscurities, but it's how we are, so
they're trying to
it's not going
silence
to change.
me. If I'm ever back, I'll bring more facts about celebrity penises.
He will most likely be back. So, once again, Adrien, Mac, and Brennan, and we will see you next time.